general will be questioning you himself on the morrow. If your innocence is proven, you will be released in 2 or 3 days. So for the time being, the cell will give you a place to cool your heels. I demand a lawyer. This is not even funny. Tossing us in a place like this without even listening to a word we have to say. If the army managed to arrest the Sky Bandits, then I'm sure we'd have our names cleared. But with the way things are at the moment, that may not be possible. Huh? Why not? You remember what the Sky Bandit leader we fought in the old mine said, right? He said, "This can't be right. You're not supposed to be here this early," if I remember correctly. Now that you mention it, he did say that, didn't he? You're not trying to tell me that he meant the army by that, are you? I don't know for sure, but I would bet that's what he meant. Which means that the Sky Bandits have a mole in the army. Or a collaborator who is leaking information. That's what you wanted to say, isn't it, Joshua? Yeah. Well, if that's the case, they'll never get caught. Which means we were the only ones that stood a chance of nabbing them. But now we're stuck in here. I wonder how your father would get around this little setback. My. Well, don't you all seem to be in a bit of a fix. Huh? Did you just say something, Joshua? No, I didn't say anything. It came from the cell next door. It almost sounds familiar. Oh boy. Not this guy again. Oh, how could you say something so heartless? My lustrous voice should be recognizable to anyone. Could this unfounded self-confidence and tone of absurd narcissism belong to... It's you, isn't it, Olivier? You know, I realize his name could potentially be pronounced Olivier, and I'm not actually sure which it is. It's like the whole Aina thing. You do remember my dulcet chords. Where did that bell come from? You don't have a bell on you, do you? To think that we'd meet again in a place like this. It seems that we are bound by destiny. Why are you here? I thought we took you to Bose. And now you're locked up in a place like this? What the heck did you do? Come now, let's not worry about all the little details, shall we? I have my reasons, which are deeper than the deepest ocean and higher than the highest peak. I'm definitely not asking now. I'm sure we just get tired while you talked our ears off. What a coincidence, Estelle. I was just thinking the same thing. So there you have it. We don't really care to know. You talk so much that I'd probably be an old woman by the time you were done, and I'm not ready for wrinkles yet. Come on now, let's not be like that. I'll fill you in on all the details of the tragic incident which befell me. Didn't you listen, dummy? We don't want to hear about it. It all began after we parted ways. I did some window shopping in the Bose Market and then moved on to the Auntie Rose restaurant. You see, once I had eaten to my heart's content, I began to play the grand piano to then feed my artistic soul. And upon doing so, the restaurant manager was overcome by my skill. So I was asked to stay and work as a professional pianist for the restaurant. That's great and all, but I thought you were supposed to be a lutist. Ha, a musical genius is not limited to just one instrument. Anyway, back to my story. After negotiating a few of my own conditions, I accepted the job offer. Those conditions were, of course, food and wine for free every day instead of Mira. I don't know how to put it, but that's very you, Olivier. Yet, I'm not sure how that has anything to do with you getting thrown in jail. Oh, well, this is where the real sob story begins. That night, I had been enjoying a plate of sautéed duck I'd had the chef prepare. But the blood sauce which had been used was a little too overbearing for my palate. Blood sauce? That sounds gross. Consequently, I began to feel that normal red wine was not satisfying enough. The more you talk, the more I want to hit you. But go on, I'm curious in spite of knowing better. Well, so I borrowed a bottle of wine that seemed good from the cellar. Something called Grand Chardonnay from the year 1183. Grand Chardonnay from the year 1183? That's a legendary vintage wine that was auctioned off in the Royal City. Oh, aren't you well informed? I heard a rumor about it too, so of course I was interested in having a drink for myself. Auctioned off? How much are we talking about here? From what I heard, it went for somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 mira. 500,000 mira? For just one bottle? That's out of this world. And you didn't, did you, Olivier? Such a needless question. Of course I opened the bottle and had a sip. Its sweet-smelling fragrance tickled my nostrils. Its luxurious, mellow taste caressed my throat. And can you believe what else? A rose-tinted vignette of time and space existed within that very bottle. I don't think I can listen to this any longer. Yeah, my ears are bleeding from listening to such stupidity. I'm completely dumbfounded. The sad thing is that after taking a sip of such excellent wine, I began to feel the food was lacking. And as I was having the chef cook me up something else to match the wine, the restaurant manager returned. Since I'm not a stingy fellow, I cordially invited him to join me for a drink. But for some odd reason, he got rather upset. In fact, he got so steaming mad that his face looked like a ripe tomato. And before I could say another word, a group of soldiers came filing in. And, well, one thing led to another, and I can't say another word about this tragedy of being dragged all the way here without coming to tears. So let us all weep together as you sympathize with my dilemma. Good luck with that. Learn some self-control, dude. Idiot. Pardon? But do my ears deceive me? I could have sworn I had heard a zzz and zzz, and even an assuredly misheard idiot coming from your cell. Are you listening? This is where the story gets really interesting. You see, several further trials awaited me after I was brought here. Hello? Are you listening? What does it look like? Or sound like, rather? Hey, you three, get up! Man, I'm tired. What's wrong? What? Are you trying to tell us you're being interrogated this early in the morning? That's a little early even for me. No, it's just the opposite. You're being released. Huh? Why all of a sudden? Is there a reason for this? Yes, I'd like to consider myself that reason. Oh, hello, Maybell. Mayor Maybell? Well, what an unusual place to be meeting you. I'm really sorry about everything that's happened to you. But don't worry, your names have been cleared. I don't completely agree with everything, but this is a request coming from Maybell herself. You'd better remember to thank her. So you mean Mayor Maybell stood up on our behalf? No, that's not exactly it. I just explained your situation to General Morgan. Our situation? Yes, I have one question for the both of you. Are you really the children of Cassius Bright? Yes, that's right. This is Estelle Bright, and I'm his adopted son, Joshua. I see. Now that you mention it, the girl does slightly resemble Lena. You knew my mother? Yes, I enjoyed your mother's cooking on several occasions when I visited your home in Roland. Why, in fact, we even met once when you were just a baby. Now, wait just a minute. You're a personal acquaintance of my dad's? I knew that he was in the military before, but I don't know Cassius Bright the Bracer. The only Cassius I know is the one from the service. He's a rare strategist. Strategist? Dad? I just can't imagine what he saw in the Bracer Guild. It makes me angry just thinking about it. You'll have to excuse me. What's wrong with him? It seems like your father was a brilliant officer in the military. I've heard from the general that he tried several times to get your father to change his mind about retiring. I didn't know that. Somehow it feels hard to believe. However, if that's the case, the general's hatred for bracers may stem from Cassius leaving the army, from the vexation of being left by one of his most promising men. I get the same impression. So what you're saying is, our lives are such a pain because of Dad? That dirty, rotten scoundrel! How about we return to Bose now? With the airliner being found, the situation has taken a new turn. So there are a number of things I'd like to discuss with you. Oh, sure. Is something the matter? I'm definitely ready to get out of here, but it feels like we're forgetting something. Now that you mention it, what could it be? Oh, how callous people can be at times. How could you forget about a companion who spent the night with you in a cold, hard cell? How lamentable. How pitiful. Fine, be that way. I shall wither away, friendless and hungry, alone in this dark purgatory. You brought that on yourself. Is he still here? Yeah, I completely forgot about him. I'm sorry to say this, but there's not much we can do for you. Is he the musician I heard about? The one who chugged that bottle of Grand Chardonnay without a second thought? He chugged it? Ha, indeed that is I. Yet, my fair lass, I would be heartbroken if you took my intentions the wrong way. For you see, I received it as an advance payment for the exquisite services that I was about to render. You're quite the interesting character. Alright, I'll see what I can do to bargain with the General for your release. Really? Truly? You would do such a kind service for a man such as myself? I think that may be asking a bit much. If the restaurant takes this to trial, there's going to at least be a lawsuit. Well, there's no need to worry about that. You see, the owner of the restaurant is me. Huh? And that Grand Chardonnay was the very one I bid on. That being the case, I'm fairly confident there won't be any other problems over the matter. I can't believe you were released. It's like a stroke of bad luck. Ha ha ha! Please don't lay on the compliments so thick. However, it pains my soul that I partook of such a fine wine without paying a single mira. Shall I play the piano in the restaurant per our contract to remedy that? I think I'm going to have to pass on that. After what happened, I think it would be a bit awkward having you back there. I, for one, don't think he'd mind a bit. Yeah, he sure does seem to have some thick skin. Let's just think of this as an unfortunate incident for the both of us. But I don't think I can just let things go like this. Let's see. It seems like you're investigating something at the moment, right? How about I lend my assistance in return for the wine? Huh? Well, that does sound interesting. That's not worth 500,000 mira, though. Could I ask you to join these bracers in their work? Ha, could you ever? So it's settled. Let our new working relationship bloom like a magnolia at the height of spring. Hold on a sec. What did we do to deserve this? Your general weirdness aside, simply having an amateur like you around is honestly going to be a pain. Are you confident that you won't be a drag on our work, or our sanity? Well, I'm somewhat confident in my marksmanship and magic. But of course I'd be distressed if you tried to list my music genius in the same group. That's the kind of line that gets me really worried. But maybe we could use an extra hand. As long as we can't count on the army to help us out, I have the feeling that we'll be short on manpower. Well, alright then, we'll use you for what you're worth. However, if we do happen to conclude that you're not worth your weight, you're dumped from the party. Are you going to be okay with that? Ha ha, of course I don't mind. I'd never let you down, so please be reassured. Well, my expectations of you are pretty much at rock bottom anyway, so I know you won't let me down. Hehe, I'm glad things are settled between you all. But before you go, there's something I need to tell you. Tell us? Actually, the town did seem pretty noisy as we were headed here. What happened? Truth be told, last night there was a large-scale burglary in Bose's South Block. The weapon shop and orbital factory were targeted, as were a number of private residences. What? So, was this the work of the Sky Bandits? It's unknown at this time, but it seems highly probable. A unit of the Royal Army is currently conducting an investigation. I see. Guess we'd better do an investigation of our own, then. Yes, I'd like to formally request that you do just that. I'll send a payment over to the guild for the work you've done so far. Please make use of the money for your current investigation expenses. I have a feeling that the army is going to get in our way again. But I guess when that happens, it happens. Whether they get in our way or not, I don't think we should be forthcoming with the army about any information we come across. Because if there's really a spy in their midst, they'll just leak it to the Sky Bandits. Though I'm reluctant to say it, I also think it's for the best to keep quiet about our findings. Anyway, let's act with prudence. Alrighty, my bosom companions, shall we head to the South Block? Look, buddy, who made you king of the show? Okay. What happens if we... Let's see. So I guess we can report that now. South Block burglary, and I guess we actually don't have to do that immediately. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and explore the mine. But I guess we might as well report our quests. And I'm assuming there are... Okay, there is. Stolen ring. Okay, so we're gonna need to go talk to her anyway. But yeah, first things first, we have some unfinished business, unfortunately. So, back to the mine we go. How are we doing on Sepith, by the way? Okay. I think Sherazard's next slot only requires 80, but I'm not sure how much I want to bother with her or Olivier. And actually, let's check out his orbit right now. Throw that on him, and that, I suppose. Just need to make sure to take them off of him before he leaves the party. Yeah, I really should have looked at a map of that mine before trying to explore it. Or at least not gone to the second area immediately. Oh well. Hey, this place is off limits. You're not allowed inside. If you don't leave the premises, I'll have no choice but to place you under arrest. Well, dang, am I gonna have to do some re-recording? Because I'm pretty sure there are items in there that we missed. That better not be a one-shot thing. Well, hello, brain. Don't care. Okay, I looked it up and there actually isn't anything in the mine. So much the better for me. I don't have to replay a bunch of the game. Or at least some of the game. So I guess we can worry about the South Block... Whoops, not what I meant to do. We can worry about the South Block burglary next time. I think we've done quite enough for a bit. So, I will see you then.